Hey everyone, my name is Drew and we are here. This is going to be week number 5 of the Pokemon Battling Association League, and we're up against Jetman99 and his Australian Arcanines, if I'm not mistaken. And this is a really interesting matchup, right? So he went hard on a kind of Koko Electric Surge core with a Regieleki. Now, Regieleki has proven to be a really interesting Pokemon, both in VGC and just kind of out here in draft format, because it can really do a lot of things with its speed. Its limited coverage is obviously something that I'm going to try to kind of play off of here, but at the same time, I think that it can be a definite problem. It can be a definite monster in this matchup, but if he does set up the electric terrain, I believe a lot in what my Xurkitree can do here. But to try to mitigate them, I'm going to try to bring a kind of dual ground core with the Piloswine and the Silvally ground. Oh, and another thing, right? So, like I mentioned last week, I did make some team changes, and I was somehow able to acquire an Urshifu. Now, that on its own is huge for me. I am so happy to have this Urshifu on the team. And unfortunately, we did have to drop the Hydreigon and the Carbink for the Togetic and the Urshifu, but we made some further transactions that come live this week, and we ended up dropping our Lurantis and our Nidoqueen because I just saw that Rotom there and it was too tempting to pick up. So we will have the Rotom and a Piloswine moving forward, and they're both making their debut, and the Urshifu is also making its debut. So 3 of my 4 brand new mons are going to make their debut, but we're going to get into team preview right now, and I'm really excited to kind of see how this match goes. So we do see the Flareon. Okay, the Flareon was a big kind of question mark for me here. But we do see the Flareon, the Electric Surge core, the Glastrier, Zoroark, and the Gothitelle. So very interesting not to see the Crocodile. So honestly, my Xurkitree is going to be able to deal a lot of damage for free. Like I said, I do have the dual ground core, but honestly, I kind of just want to lead off with this Xurkitree here, right? I think it's going to ultimately give me the most options here. Also, so another thing, I really didn't want to get trapped in by this Gothitelle and be taken advantage of. So every one of my as many mods as possible have some kind of pivoting, right? So my Xurkitree and Rotom both have Volt Switch. My Silvally has Parting Shot, and my Urshifu is U-Turn, as you can imagine. My Skarmory actually has Whirlwind, so hopefully that'll prevent any kind of hard setup. Yeah, I just think this is the best play. Like, I don't see what else I would do in this situation. But I do honestly have to play my Skarmory very carefully. If I do win this matchup, it's going to be because I played my Skarmory incredibly carefully. But the fact that the Crocodile is in here is really, I mean, honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons. It's one of my biggest reasons for wanting to bring the Skarmory, which is really interesting to me that it's not here. It can kind of manage the Glastrier somewhat, but ultimately leads off with the Koko. Okay, that's totally fair. But there's going to be nothing stopping me. I mean, honestly, there's nothing stopping me from clicking Rising Voltage here. Now, I would be curious to see. I could definitely see this being Specs, although leading off with a Specs, Koko would be interesting. Rising Voltage. So my Rising Voltage would have a chance to KO, and his would not. So, I mean, honestly, why not? You know, let's get as much damage off as we possibly can. This thing is going to reveal to be Scarfed, because I should be able to take out any kind of Scarfed Koko. And if we, okay, we're not able to take it out. It probably has a decent amount of bulk. It probably doesn't need all of its speed, especially being Scarfed. But now that's going to definitely signal to me that I should get the heck out of here. Because again, this Xurkitree is going to be pretty huge overall for my team. He's going to get another Dazzling Gleam off, but I'm going to be able to get up, rocks, or I'm sorry, I believe this has spikes, and my Piloswine has rocks. But, we should know for sure that this thing is Scarfed, and, I mean, the reason that I'm playing this way should honestly scream to him that I'm Scarfed. What's his removal? I don't think he might not have removal. But, oh no, this thing can defog, but it is Scarf, so it might not pack defog, or we might be able to put this thing in a position where it's not going to be able to defog. But regardless, does bring in the Flareon. Okay, that is definitely fair. But we do have the Spike Up. Now we don't really have the best switches in to a Flareon. But at the same time, it does get poisoned. That's totally fine. This thing could just... I mean, this thing could do a lot of damage. I'm actually really curious. I did not do any kind of Flareon calcs, but I guess I have to now, right? I guess I have to now. I know this thing is really strong. I was gonna say potentially Urshifu takes a hit, but that is not... That's not at all... I mean, honestly, I'm thinking through right now, like, how much do I really need my Skarmory anymore because of... Yeah, I mean, I honestly feel like I don't need my Skarmory anymore. And I can just potentially try to get off a Roost here. No, I think getting up another layer of Spike, if I'm able to, which I'm probably not going to be. But that would probably be, I mean... Oh, I'm faster too, so that's fair. So we'll get a couple layers of Spike up. And then I will be able to threaten. It goes for a superpower, so putting itself in a really interesting spot here. I will be able to outspeed, so I can get a Roost up. He may be expecting me to want to Roost, but this just felt so much stronger of a play for me. So from here, I mean, yeah, from here I just make the Roost play, right? Because it's going to do so much damage to itself. I could also Body Press. I mean, that's not going to do quite what I needed to do. Actually, Body Press plus the recoil might actually have done it here. But either way, I think this is going to be fine in the end. At -1, we might actually take a Flare Blitz, it looks like. We do. We do, because it put itself at -1. Now, we could get another Spike Up. We could get a third layer of Spike Up, but I don't know if that is... I don't know if that is greedy here. Because it... Oh, I should bring this up, honestly. Because it does look like... It does look like... Another Body Press is going to be a potential KO. I mean, if we can get out of here with a Body Press KO, then that would be huge. I mean, I'm gonna do a No Bulk Flareon at 60%. I mean, it's also a huge if, assuming that this thing is No Bulk. But at 60%, it looks like Body Press would be a 69% chance to KO here. And it might actually be a little bit under 60%. So, by the looks of it here, we do have a chance to KO. And if we can, I mean, that would just be huge. If we do KO, that is bonkers huge. That is bonkers huge. And honestly, I was just giving up the Skarmory. So now that we have a sack and we have a potential pivot and a potential third layer of Spike Up, but I mean, getting 2 layers of Spike Up here is absolutely huge. It's unspeakably huge. But now, we will see the Regieleki. It's out of terrain, right? Yeah. There's no terrain, so I don't feel bad about just wanting to go into my Piloswine here. I've seen him run, I mean, 3 electric attacks and Hyper Beam in the past. That's, I mean, a definite possibility. I'd be curious to see if that comes out. Goes for the Flamethrower. I actually don't believe we're Thick Fat this week. I actually believe that we are Oblivious, unless, and there was a reason for it. I just don't quite remember why. Yeah, I just didn't imagine, yeah, we are Oblivious, but I honestly didn't even imagine, it being that much of an issue for... Goes for a Trick. Okay, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. What will I get? I get a Ring Target, but I do still have my Savali in the back. So I have seen him play this Ring Target strategy in the past, but at the same time, this thing is really specially defensive, and I mean, I just feel like we take a hit. I mean, I could be wrong. I just feel like we take a hit. Goes for another Flamethrower, but we should know that we take a hit decently well, and if we can KO here, I mean, that would just be huge. We do get an EQ, and we don't quite KO. Oh, of course. Okay, I'm quite silly. Okay, yeah, I'm really bad at sussing these things out, but I mean, there's no reason to keep this, right? I think I just let this thing go. And then that allows me to go into... I mean, honestly, that just allows me to go into Circuitry. I can... Oh, I can Ice Shard. Yeah, Ice Shard should probably do this, too. So yeah, I mean... Solid exchange, I feel like, right? We're still doing okay here. If the Regieleki comes... Well, no, if he would send in the Tapu Koko first. If the Koko comes in first, then Ice Shard for Chip, right? And then try to deal with it from there? Question mark, I guess. Actually, Zoroark is really interesting. I just realized because if he scarfs the Zoroark, then it could disguise itself as Regieleki and kind of yeah, there's no reason to click anything else. And it's so fast as a Scarf Zoroark that it could actually be a potential a solid Regieleki disguise. So there's the Thunder Cage, and we will go down here. It is Life Orb, which is really interesting, but we just have... I'm trying to look at his team really quickly. Yeah, I don't see any switches into a max special defense Silvally Ground, and this is... Unfortunately, I didn't make this thing max special defense. This is not the kind of situation that I wanted to kind of really put this thing in, but this thing could switch out, right? So I really want a Parting Shot here. Yeah. I feel like I always Parting Shot here, right? I just feel like I always... Goes for a Hyper Beam. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to lose anything by going for this Parting Shot. I guess. But that, yeah. I mean, that deals a lot of damage. There's no way around that. That just deals a lot of damage. But I can pretty much set myself up at however I want to right now. And I could give this KO to whoever I really feel like. This feels like the best play. This feels like the best play. Maybe it's not, though. It disallow... I think... Man, I really don't know what to do here. I could just go into this and then... Yeah, I think Rotom is the best play overall. If the Glastrier comes in, I Will-O-Wisp. If the Koko comes in, I Volt Switch out. And, if the Koko comes in, then I just kind of take it on, right? But that will KO. So our new recruit Rotom is going to pick up a KO. And now, again, whatever comes in, if this baits in the Glastrier, then that would be pretty fantastic. I still have to not lose to... Goes into this thing, okay. But this thing, yeah, it shouldn't... Okay, that's a KO for Pilot's fine, so our new recruits are doing the thing, right? The Glastrier can come in. I just Willow and then Volt Switch as soon as possible. This thing, I just Volt Switch out into the Urshifu. And then from there, we just have to deal with the Glastrier, and I probably have to give up multiple mons to kind of deal with it, but I will get there in the end, right? I'll get there eventually. We will figure it out at some point. And then I don't think this thing is ever going to set up on me because I do have the Urshifu play available to me, but we're going to make it work, right? From here, we can just reveal this thing. And I can't imagine any scenario where this thing takes a Wicked Blow. But for the sake of completeness, goes for Toxic. I mean, I feel like that's just fine. For the sake of completeness, it is leftovers, so it's not going to be Cobra Berry. Yeah, this thing should shred a Gothitelle. And then from there, I mean, I feel like we have multiple ways of dealing with the Glastrier, and then we just kind of move on from this week, I feel like. This felt like a I mean, I don't know. Is there a way that the last year can just tear through my team? My team is weakened. My team is weakened, but I feel like I'm always going to get a chance to Will-O-Wisp. If I miss the Will-O-Wisp, then obviously I'm in trouble, but I mean, that's always going to be the case, right? I mean, if I miss the Will-O-Wisp, then I can continually Volt Switch in and out and sack Mons for my circuitry, and then I feel like I get there in the end, right? So can we do what is that, 60%-ish? I feel like we can, but I guess we're just gonna have to see. I'm just gonna click the button. We either come out with a 5-0, or I have to imagine we can chip this thing down over time. If we can't, then we can't, and we end up losing this matchup, but I just have to imagine that we can find the damage here. There is the close combat. We do the damage, and we leave with a 5-0. This will be our first win that was not a 6-0 for this season, but it's gonna be how we go. I'm really happy about how this team kind of functioned. Really happy about how I built the team, how I kind of forced him to play the team, how I forced him to play his team, because that went into a lot of my thinking here. But he had a really strong team. He's a very strong player, and that's just gonna be how this week ends. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back really soon with more weeks of the PBAL, and we'll be back with more things in the new year and plenty of other stuff in the future. But once again, with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be once again out.